Guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, coming back at you again. This video I'm doing right now is for the Star Wars, Solo, a Star Wars story, spoiler talk. So, for those of you who have not seen this movie, don't watch this review. Because I'm going to be giving out everything that's happened in this movie. So, let's get started. Solo was, in my opinion, I think was an okay movie, but it did lack a lot of depth and didn't bring a lot of character building into the story on what point they were, like how they got to this point in the story or whatever, when it showed, mainly the beginning was like that. But in the beginning, you just see Han Solo just driving off with one of the space pod things or whatever, or something like that, and then he runs into Kira, who's Emilia Clarke, Kira, and they're trying to get out of the where they live, so they're trying to run away and go on an adventure and become smugglers themselves and buy their own ship just to travel through the stars. Mostly is what they're doing, and they set out to do that, but then they get stopped by one of these thugs or whatever that wants to get back what they got stolen or whatever. So there's this thing that Kira has on her that Han gave her, that is worth 500 to 600 credits or something like that. And yeah, overall the beginning of the movie's not too bad, but it does go very fast paced in the beginning of the movie and doesn't really build up to why they got to this point of the movie for the beginning of it, or how Han got to that place. So it didn't really explain much of that. It just started off with that in the movie, where Han's just running away from these bandits or whatever, and they went to go see their leader or whatever. Han was taken to this weird snake-headed lady or whatever. It was creepy or something like that. I don't know, but Han's saying, "I don't want to take orders from you anymore," and then she's like, "Oh, kill him," and all that. And yeah, that's when they make their run and try to escape, and they're just running away and all that. And right when they're about to cross the border just to go on one of the ships or whatever, Kira gets taken by one of the guys that are after them, that were chasing them, and Han was the only one that escaped. And that's when he said, "I want to join the flight school thing." And he's like, "You got a name, or do you have any people?" And he's like, "I don't have any people." And the guy's like, "Solo, Han Solo." And that's where he joins the Empire Flight School or something like that. And you see him on a battlefield, and then he's like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" And you see them getting killed and slaughtered and all that. And then Woody Harrelson as Beckett was actually leading that army to victory and all that, and I think they succeeded, barely. And Han actually figured out that he was not there for the army, that he was a thief stealing a ship. So Beckett and Val and Roshi, I think, or Ronan or something like that. Yeah, Ronan, I think his name was. He wanted to join their group, Han did, and then that's where he's like, "Take this man away," or whatever. So he kind of is like, he's a traitor, or he's gonna sell you out or something. So they throw Han in this pit or whatever, and then that's where he meets Chewbacca, where they think he's a beast or whatever. So that's how Han and Chewie met. they kind of were beating each other up, and then they broke out of that place because Chewie hit the metal pole and broke it for some reason. And they just made their way up and went after the ship that Beckett was on, including Val and Ronan. And that's where they miraculously escape with them. And they're like, waving out to Beckett's ship saying, wait, and all that. And they let him climb aboard. And so they go to do a heist or whatever. Up in the mountains or something like that. They're trying to steal some kind of explosive thing or whatever. Or something just to get them enough money or credits to get a ship so Han can go back and save Kira from Kadoria or something. From where he grew up. And yeah, the heist actually went sideways. There's these pirates or whatever that were chasing after them, and they're like, oh, they're trying to take the heist as well. They're trying to get the same thing we're getting. And yeah, they pretty much don't succeed. Ronan actually gets killed, unfortunately, by one of the pirates when he's on the ship or whatever, taking control. And this other weird, long-headed creature guy or whatever's like trying to break the hooks that was attaching to the cargo train or whatever that had the stuff they needed. And Val actually killed herself by blowing up the bridge. Right when she saw Imperial droids going after them. So she delayed them. That way they didn't interfere with Beckett and Han and Chewie trying to take the stuff they need just to complete the heist. And they actually do manage to grab the thing, but they had to let it go because they wouldn't have done it. The hooks were like barely holding on to the ship. So they just had to let it go. And then they go to explain to Paul Bettany, who's the Dryden or whatever. That's his name. And that's where they try to explain about, we can make it up to you. Beckett's trying to explain to them that we can make it up to you by finding another heist. And that's where Han runs into Kira, and she's actually working for this group called Crimson Dawn, who are like kind of like the Empire mostly, so they're pretty much the bad guys. They work for the Empire, but they're pretty much scoundrels and bandits, just stealing whatever they want, mostly. And that's where Kira joins Han, Chewie, and Beckett, just to go find someone that has a ship that they can do the Kessel Run with. And this is where you find out why, how Han actually did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. So this is where you find out, and this was actually pretty cool. They actually run into this place or whatever where Lando's at, Donald Glover. And yeah, he's a character. I actually liked him in this movie. He was pretty entertaining. And another associate that was with Lando or whatever, L337, she was actually a character. It's a droid, but it's played by a woman. So, yeah. I think this, overall, this movie was pretty good with the action scenes and everything. It's just, they went a little fast in the beginning, but it managed to pick up its pace by explaining a little more into the movie. And, yeah. They go and do the Kessel Run just to get the thing that they need. So they actually free the prisoners or whatever that were at this place or whatever. They were trying to get the stuff they needed to bring it back to Dryden or whatever. So they managed to succeed, and they free all the prisoners, and it's like a riot. Unfortunately, L3 or whatever actually didn't make it. She actually died in the process, which is a droid that I'm saying. And she was like split in half or whatever, like someone bashed her with like a hammer or sledgehammer or something. But yeah, she was a character. She made me laugh a little bit. And they're trying to find a shortcut just to flee from the Empire because right when they leave the planet, an Imperial ship comes after them and tries to sabotage them and take them into custody or whatever. So they're trying to pretty much kill them and blow them up. And that's where Han gets the idea. He's like, I'm gonna go through this place just to see if we can find a shortcut to get out of this mess. And they run into this kind of like an asteroid field, but no, some kind of dimension. And he's like, you don't want to go too far into space because you'll hit the Maul or whatever, which is kind of like a black hole but with a red fiery thing around it or whatever. It kind of will just suck you in and you're pretty much dead. And they run into this monster that they try to trap or whatever. And they actually succeed on that, and pretty much the monster gets sucked into the red black hole or whatever that I was saying, the Maul. And that's where Han and everyone else is trying to jump to light speed so they can get out of that. So they can exit the Maul and not get sucked into that. And they have to, like, Beckett actually helps them put the right tools in place just to fix it up and make sure they can get out of that situation. And they actually do. And Han did the trick that he was going to do when he slid the space pod or whatever, right when he was leaving Cordelia or whatever, but it didn't succeed at first, and he actually succeeded with it. And then what was funny is he kind of bragged about it right when they were going to meet Dryden at the place that he wanted them to meet at. And he bragged saying, I just did the Kessel run in 12 parsecs. And then Lando's like, I hate you. I'm like, I don't want to ever see you again. So, yeah. Then the pirates that were in the beginning of the movie, where they were trying to take the thing I told you about, where Ronan and Val died, actually show up here, and they're trying to explain themselves to not make a deal with Crimson Dawn, and they'll deceive you. And yeah, they did. And Han goes to meet with Paul Bettany or whatever, Dryden, just to make the deal and all that, and Dryden's like, oh no, I actually got a new report saying you were going to screw us over. So Beckett was the one that told him what was going on and what Han was planning. And you kind of think Beckett's the traitor and screwed over Han, Chewie, and Kira. Yeah, yes, that's true, but no. Han actually, Beckett actually got away and took Chewie with him just to take the items he needed just to sell it. And that's where you find out that, what is it? I'm sorry. Han and Dryden were actually in a fight, and Kira actually killed him. So, and then Beckett got shot by Han. And Kira's telling Han to go after Beckett right before I said that Han killed Beckett. Kira, you definitely have to watch out for in this movie because she will deceive you. And she does work for Crimson Dawn. And guess who she answers to? Darth Maul. that motherfucker got split in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi in the first episode. And yeah, it shows Kira driving off with the ship or whatever just to go meet Darth Maul. And that pretty much ends the movie, mostly. At the end of the movie, it shows Han beating Lando in the game that he lost to when he was trying to meet them the first time. So that's going to be it for the spoiler talk. Comment below, let me know your thoughts on what you thought about this movie or what your favorite part of Solo: A Star Wars story is, and I'll see you in the next video.